Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's weekly psychic reading. I'm Erin Lee, and you can find the rest of my readings on my website, vancouverislandpsychic.com. And this is the weekly psychic reading for Monday, February 10th to Sunday, February 16th, 2014. I just couldn't help myself. I had to bring out some extra rose quartz and some love and some heart energy for this week's reading since Friday is Valentine's Day. I had actually looked for the Romance Angels Oracle card deck and couldn't find them, but the Goddess Oracle card deck popped out. So we'll be using that for the second portion of the reading today. And we'll be using Doreen Virtue's Magical Messages from Your Mermaids Oracle card deck. And so your crystal choices for the week are carnelian, rose quartz, and labradorite. Again, that's carnelian, rose quartz, and labradorite. So let's move these guys off to the side and we'll pull the goddesses out shortly. So first what we're going to do is we're going to ask our angels, the mermaids and dolphins, for the messages that the messages for the week so that we can live a balanced, happy and centered life this week. And perhaps we can get some glue for my fingers at the same time to keep the cards in place. And let's just take a look quickly at this one here that fell out. So the overall message for the week that we have is to watch your thoughts. It's important only to think about what you desire and not what you fear. So really make sure that you keep your thoughts positive this week, guys. Let's move that off to the side. So the first message for Monday and Tuesday is morning affirmations. Well, isn't that beautiful? Because that's actually right on the heels of the watch your thoughts message. So say positive affirmations each morning to open the gates of manifestation. So big thing that's coming up for this week is that things are starting to happen and things are starting to come together, but it's really important that you're keeping positive throughout the whole process. So starting off the week right with positive intentions. What is it that you want to bring into your life this week? And really keep focused, concentrated, and centered on exactly what you're wanting to bring in. It feels like you're also letting go of a lot of negative thought patterns or old belief systems. So whenever you start to catch yourself in thought processes like, oh, well, I couldn't possibly do that because of, or anything along those lines, just kind of catch yourself and say, well, why couldn't I possibly do that? And turn it around and change it. So it feels like this week, particularly at the beginning of the week, we're really concentrating on being positive and looking at what we could be doing rather than what we can't be doing. Looking at Wednesday and Thursday, the message that's coming up is break free. Try different ventures and experiences as a way to grow and learn. So again, I'm kind of feeling the same messages coming up with this one, is that it's really important to not limit ourselves based on perhaps past experiences or what other people have said, and it's really important that we break free out of that mold and try new things. It also feels like there's a feeling of adventure that's coming up this week too. So through Wednesday and Thursday, try something new that you haven't tried before. Say there's a recipe that you've been thinking about that you've been wanting to try but you haven't been sure about it, give it a try. Now is the time, because it feels like there are a lot of new experiences that are coming forward that are going to really open up our minds and just kind of cause a really fabulous explosion to happen. So breaking free is really important through Wednesday and Thursday this week. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we come into contemplation time and spend time alone meditating upon what you truly desire. So again, this feeling of kind of coming back into yourself and really concentrating on the things that you want rather than what you don't want this week. It also feels like this is a really great time for planning and starting to slowly set things into motion. So again, I'm kind of going back to the message that we had at the beginning of the week this week, which was around new beginnings, new startings, and things really starting to come together. And it feels like we're really starting to put things into place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this is a great time to be planning, to be creating new opportunities, and actually just kind of creating in general. It feels like there's not an awful lot of external work that we're doing over the weekend. It feels like this is probably more on your own, possibly with another person, but there isn't a lot of fluff and fanfare that's happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week. But things overall feel like they're really popping forward and moving ahead. But definitely the theme for the week is that it's important that you pay attention to your thoughts, because your thoughts become your reality. All right, so let's take a look at what the goddess cards have to say for us for this week. So we had the crystals. For the people who chose carnelian this week, the message that's, coming up for you is fairness. This situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. So it feels like balance is coming into play for you this week, not only within difficulties that you may be having with other people or situations in general, but also just in your day-to-day life. There's a feeling of balance. So really important that you're concentrating on creating that for yourself. So maybe taking a bit of time off from your day-to-day routine and doing the things that you know that you need to do in order to maintain balance for yourself in your life. Also a feeling of resolution coming up as well, and this feels like this again has to do with something that's happening within your life, likely with another person or people. And the other message that's coming up here is to really look for peace within this situation. Whatever it is that you're dealing with this week, it feels like there's the possibility of compromise that's coming up, and really finding that feeling of peace, and seeing that everybody within this situation is doing the best that they can, and treating everybody, including yourself, with a feeling of compassion as well. For the people who chose rose quartz, Unga, I believe that's how her name is pronounced. Easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. And so the message that's coming up with this, pardon me, is really that it's not a time to be pushing things forward or to be forcing things ahead, but allowing things to unfold as they will. And it also feels like there's a sense of planning and preparation that's coming up for the people who chose rose quartz for this week. Also, again, the repeated message is that it's important that you're doing the things that you need to do in order to find and maintain balance, because it's very much an internal week for you this week. And I'm really kind of drawn to the message that everything is occurring in perfect timing. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're starting to see a lot of synchronistic events happening. Synchronicities being that things are starting to fall into place. A door opens, you take it, another one opens, you take it, and continuing along in that theme. And the more that you, one, pay attention and recognize those and then act on them, the more that they are invited into your life. So there's no need to push, there's no need to force. Things are coming together and falling into place, but just relax and have patience with the process. Excuse me. And for the people who chose labradorite, bright future with Lakshmi. Excuse me just a moment, we're back. So for the people who chose labradorite, the message that's coming up for you is Lakshmi and bright future. Stop worrying, everything is going to be fine. And it feels like that's kind of where you're coming to. It feels like things may have been kind of rocky for you the past couple of weeks, or perhaps even longer than that. And that difficulty, that rocky feeling that you've been experiencing or going through has come to an end, and that there are smoother roads ahead of you. And pardon me, just really important that you continue to pay attention to that. I'm also really drawn to her hands. I don't know if you can see in the video or not, but with the one hand she is receiving and with the other hand she is giving. And so it feels that that bright future is really when you find that balance between giving and taking, the giving and receiving. And so actually I have just realized that balance is a message that's come up for everybody in all of the cards this week. So balance is also another theme to add for the week. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me for this week's weekly psychic reading. I'm Erin Lee, and you can find the rest of my readings on my website, VancouverIslandPsychic.com, and I wish you a fabulous week.